Moving to a new city can be challenging, and there are often things you don't learn about the area until you have spent some time there. And the home buying process can be challenging enough. The last thing you need is to move into a neighborhood to find out it's not the right one for you. My name is Jessie McLellan, and I'm a realtor here in Oshawa, Ontario, and I make videos about trends in the local real estate market, and I also make videos to make the process easier for people who are buying or selling a home here. If that's something you're interested in, please feel free to join our community and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. For this video, I'm going to cover pros and cons of living in Oshawa from my perspective as a realtor, but also as a lifelong resident. If you find the video helpful, I would really appreciate if you would hit that like button, as it helps me reach more people like you. A lot of this is going to come down to personal preferences. What may be a positive for me could be a negative for you. Regardless, I hope this video gives you some helpful information so you can make the best decision for you. And if you'd like to speak with me, I'll put a link in the description where you can book a buyer consultation, seller consultation, or just a quick phone call to get some questions answered about our market. The first positive thing about living in Oshawa is education. Oshawa is home to Durham College and Ontario Tech, which provides fantastic post-secondary education opportunities for students that come from all over the province. Both the college and Ontario Tech University offer a wide variety of programs such as business, health sciences, skilled trades, computer science, and so much more. With all of the growth the college and university has seen, it's had a positive effect on the local community. It's helped renovate and find new uses for old buildings in the downtown core. It's helped bring more people and businesses to the downtown core, and it's a huge reason for a lot of the growth in North Oshawa. There are condo buildings being built, new neighborhoods popping up everywhere, new businesses and restaurants, and Oshawa's second Costco just recently opened up near there as well. So regardless, if you or your children plan on attending the college or university, it provides a positive impact on the community and those that live in it. The next positive thing about living in Oshawa is the transportation and proximity to Toronto. Many people who work in Toronto live in Oshawa because of the affordability and proximity. Oshawa to Toronto is about 60 kilometers using the 401, and depending on the time of day, that commute can take you anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half or more depending on the traffic conditions. There's also the 407 highway in the north end of the city. However, the 407 is a toll highway, and although it's very convenient, it can be very costly if you're using it frequently. And Oshawa is also the last GO station stop on the Lakeshore East train line. The trains run minimum every hour, and I believe during peak times they run every half hour, and they take you right into Union Station in downtown Toronto. Thousands of residents use the train for their daily commute into Toronto, and it also makes it very convenient if you're going down for concerts or sporting events, because they're all usually very close to Union Station. The GO trains are reliable, predictable, and affordable. Just the cost of parking in Toronto for an event can cost just as much or more than the day pass to go back and forth on the train. And you don't have to deal with traffic or driving downtown. It allows Durham Region residents to enjoy the benefits of downtown Toronto without having to pay the housing costs associated with actually living downtown. The Lakeshore East line will also be extending out into Bowmanville in the future, with an additional stop to be added in Oshawa. There are many positives about living in Oshawa, but the last one I'll mention in this video is affordability. It's important that I mention it's affordable relative to the cost of housing in the rest of the Greater Toronto Area, which is one of the most expensive markets in Canada. It's not cheap, but it's less expensive. Simply said, you get a better bang for your buck here than the cities west of us and closer to Toronto. If you're looking for a detached house in Toronto for $800,000, that probably won't happen, but in Oshawa, you definitely do have a fair amount of options. There are some pretty good entry-level options as well. There are older bungalows, condo apartments, and condo townhomes that fall into that entry-level price bracket. But one thing I think Oshawa could do better at, despite being more affordable than other cities in the GTA, is building more new entry-level housing. The majority of homes being built in Oshawa are very large, detached, and 3-story townhomes that are outside that entry-level price point, where some of our neighboring cities do a better job of building bungalow townhomes and different condo options that provide more opportunities for first-time buyers. Now for one of the negative aspects of living in Oshawa. A growing city has benefits, but it can also have some drawbacks. One of those drawbacks for Oshawa is traffic congestion. It's obviously not on the same level as Toronto, but during peak hours, it can be a little overwhelming in certain areas. With many of Oshawa's residents commuting west into Toronto for work on a daily basis, this results in heavy traffic and increased commute times during rush hours on major routes. There's a bottleneck on the 401 that, although is not in Oshawa, it's around Pickering and Ajax and affects residents of Oshawa who are commuting home from Toronto. The highway merges from 6 lanes down to 3 lanes, which during peak hours can cause delays and add an extra 15 to 20 minutes onto your commute. And with all of those commuters coming off of the highway, this leads to many of the main roads with exit ramps to also have increased traffic congestion during rush hours. Stevenson, Simcoe, Ritson, and Harmony Road all experience this congestion. Taunton Road, especially at the Taunton and Harmony intersection, sees a lot of traffic as well because those roads connect many of the residents of nearby communities, and there's also shopping and restaurants all around that intersection, so it can be a very busy spot during the day and rush hours. The next negative on my list for living in Oshawa is the new neighborhoods being built don't have the same charm as the older neighborhoods. This is probably a little picky and definitely a personal preference, but many of the older Oshawa neighborhoods have a unique appeal to them. Neighborhoods like the North Glen, McLaughlin, and Eastdale communities all have these quiet neighborhoods with older, well-kept bungalows and older homes, and the streets are lined with mature trees, and it gives those neighborhoods a unique quality that many of the newer neighborhoods in Oshawa are missing. The further north you get, the more the neighborhoods start feeling the effects of builders making larger homes while also trying to make housing denser. The lots get smaller, the homes get closer together, there's less yard, less space, less trees, and it feels like there are less kids and families spending time together outside because of this reduced space. That's not to say that there are not many great new neighborhoods in Oshawa, because there definitely are. But overall, many of the newer neighborhoods just feel a little bit more generic and, in my opinion, less aesthetically pleasing than some of the older ones. The last negative I'm going to talk about is the negative stigma around Oshawa and downtown Oshawa. Over the years, Oshawa has received a bit of a negative reputation that surrounds downtown and South Oshawa. South Oshawa has some areas that are definitely rougher around the edges, but it's usually painted as all of South Oshawa being a bad area, when in reality, it's just a couple certain little pockets that you should be aware of if you're moving here. You can feel free to check out my neighborhoods to avoid video for more information after, but there are some great little neighborhoods in South Oshawa, and I think that we're going to start to see a lot of positive growth happening there in the future. There's a condo development currently planned for South Oshawa that would bring a 30-story, almost 700-unit building to the waterfront. And Oshawa already has a beautiful lakefront, beach, and park. So I think there is a ton of potential, and over the next few years, I think we'll really see that start to turn around. When it comes to downtown Oshawa, there are a lot of social services available for those without shelter and with addiction issues. Unfortunately, with the rising costs of housing over the last few years and the pandemic, that problem has only gotten worse. But downtown Oshawa is also home to the Tribute Community Center, where the Oshawa Generals hockey team plays. It's home to the Region and Biltmore Theaters, which host lots of different concerts and events. I think the stigma around downtown and South Oshawa is a little over-exaggerated. Oshawa has its issues like any city does, but Oshawa is only going to continue to grow, and I think we're only going to continue to see further development around the lakefront in the south end and see more businesses, venues, and restaurants coming to downtown Oshawa, and that's something I'm really looking forward to being a part of. There's a lot more pros and cons to living in Oshawa. I couldn't mention them all in this video, but I think this is a pretty good start for someone who is new and looking to move here. Let me know if there are any pros and cons that I missed that you think a new resident would find important, and let me know if I should do a pros and cons video for any other area, maybe Clarington next. Hopefully you found this information helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and as always, there's a link in the description if you'd like to book a call with me at a time that works best for you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!